I was cutting La La Land with Damien. Basically, it was the end of La La Land, and Damien came to me with the script and said, I think this is going to be my next project. And it was First Man, based on the book by James Hansen. It was really exciting to think about his approach to the next movie, because he talked about how it was going to be different. La La Land had all these long takes, and it was romantic, and it was smooth, and the cuts were very clean and precise in a certain way. For this movie, he really wanted it to be visceral.
You're too low. Climb.
Control is degrading.
Slow your rate. Do you read? Kneel.
Damien, he's a big fan of 2001: A Space Odyssey and Interstellar and other space movies. But he really wanted to be careful not to tread on what those movies did so well. So in the case of 2001, the ultimate, space classic, it's very clean, it's modern, it's futuristic, it's space age. I think what Damien saw in these space capsules in his research was that, these crafts were more machine age than space age. It was all about these gauges that looked like something out of a submarine or a tank. It was all about these rivets that are holding together these metal cans, and he really wanted to lean into that. And I think that also helped inform the analog lo-fi feel of the movie. He wanted to shoot on film, which he did. He shot 1.7 million feet of film in several different formats. He shot on Super 16, 35, VistaVision, and IMAX.
We're gonna have to start from scratch.
The shooting style was gonna be cinema verite, and he told me he was gonna shoot it like a documentary. Therefore, the cutting was gonna be very different from La La Land, very different even from Whiplash.
Little trouble there. Let's pick it up at 17.
In the editing room, what Damien and I always find is that, what's perfect on the page often is very different when you commit it to film. And, certainly we found that on Whiplash, which had a script that, no pun intended, was tight as a drum. I thought the script was really perfect. I loved it. And it had all the right emotional beats and all the right moments. But, once you get the dailies, once performances inhabit these characters.
Why do you suppose I just hurled a chair at your head, Neiman?
Once you get looks and eyes and reactions, you often find that less is more. And that was certainly the case on First Man. I think the big difference on First Man was that Damien knew that we would have a different sort of elasticity in terms of our storytelling in the editing room because of the verite shooting. Capturing details and moments in a documentary fashion was going to mean that we would have even more heavy lifting to do once we got into post. So the way Damien and Lena shot the film is, even during the scripted scenes, they would choose to have a second camera, sometimes a third camera, that would just be grabbing little details, little off-screen moments. He knew that he would be collecting a lot of this footage that we wouldn't exactly know where it would go, but we'd have it to work with. Those are things that I started to have to kind of make room for in my select roles. Gauges, close-ups of switches, and all of that footage was often slated for certain scenes, but were elements that we ended up using all over the movie in different places. And so we had to be able to call these up at a moment's notice. And that's what a good editorial crew, will do. My crew had to organize all of these insert shots into separate bins. So we had these massive bins that would just be called Gemini 8 inserts or Gemini 8 windows. We'd have a bin that would say Gemini 8 inserts by scene. And then we'd have another bin that would say Gemini inserts by type of gauge. And we did the same thing for the Apollo missions as well. It was a reminder to me that every piece of film has value. If it wasn't for finding creative ways to organize the material, I think we'd still be editing the movie.